With this shit, stay on top, we legit. Pull up in the cream. Pull up in the cream.
In the street like a lunatic. Got a bump net run on the stereo. So loud, got them stumbling like dominoes. Okay, get on the beat, move with your feet. I always got her coming back like candy sweets. I'm so elite, can't take defeat. And when I'm all around these bitches, they overheat. Yeah, y'all oversleep, annoying like parakeets. They pull up in the rap, but it's usually bittersweet.
Usually kitty letter, you should go back to Twitter.
You wheels looking small, but mine are getting bigger.
Got me blowing hollow tips. What you say to me, bitch? What you say to me? Yeah. What you say to me, bitch? What you say to me, bitch? What you say to me? Yeah. What you say to me, bitch? Smoking pop goes. I'm blowing hollow tips. What you say to me? What you say to me? What you say to me? What you say to me?
this endeavor? Would it fall like steel or a feather? Will our lives be lost ever? Or is everything gonna be forever? If everyone was the same in this endeavor, would it fall like steel or a feather? Will our lives be lost ever?
Everest be. I bought a crib and I ain't even write my masterpiece. These mountaintops couldn't start to put a cap on me. We be fucking but in public acting casually. Former homies, now the leeches that come after me. And now my idols got some time to give a dap to me. I'm spitting factually, my habits a catastrophe. No names when I rap, I let my passion bleed. Tour the country, got some plugs across the map with me. Gotta hit the bank, the app won't let me cash the fee. And the bank teller look at me like I be trapped keys. Yeah. Now my exes won't be back with me. I buy a Lexus for my mama with the backup beat. I whip a Subaru, the engine always Japanese. Faded so I always give my driver backup keys. I'm in the function and my homies in the back with me. Lab group till I die, come to class with me. Smashing, but in the morning then I'm back to beats. She like Crystal Castles like she knew that Alice Glass would leave. Skip algebra, now people do the math for me. Making records every day, that's how it has to be. Used to make wax to pay for all my travel fees. Now I press wax with my logo on the jacket sleeve. Super task with the slaps, I never slack indeed. LG, have your venue at capacity. No LV, I got that Roku on my jacket sleeve. Always hating, but now every day you atting me. Hey, back to my old ways. Familiar with the gas, no brake. You catch me in the lab most days. Either that or mostly getting rain. Yeah, lab group, lab group, lab group, lab group. Let me say it one time, lab group, lab group. Let me say it one time. Yeah, yeah, lab group, lab group, lab group, lab group. Let me say it one time, lab group, lab group. Let me say it one time.
Yo, Furry Weekend, what's up? Y'all having a good weekend so far?
up to me like club, don't ride that. Okay, rock with my words. Okay, don't ride too. Buzz those doors. Okay, that's what it goes. When I say they shoot, show me it all. Like my bitch, you come and talk. That's my role. You was a fool. If you think that you're a bull, buzz up to me like club, don't ride that. Okay, rock with my words. Okay, don't ride too. Buzz those doors. Okay, that's what it goes. When I say they shoot, like my bitch, you come and talk. That's my role. You was a fool. If you think that you're a bull, buzz up to me like club, don't ride that. Okay, rock with my words. Okay, don't ride too. Buzz those doors. Okay, that's what it goes. When I say they shoot, show me like my bitch, you come and talk. That's my role. You was a fool. If you think that you're a bull, buzz up to me like club, don't ride that. Okay, rock with my words. Okay, don't ride too. Buzz those doors. Okay, that's what it goes. When I say they shoot.
Trying to play songs. I came in with the cool on it. And I got some bitches. And I got some bitches talking. My way joke, got that fat. Selling low. Sell a piece, sell it whole, sell it for the low. My way joke, got that fat. For the low. Sell a piece, sell it whole, for the low. Let it go. Let it go.
and so do I.
Yo, give it up for Sandfear, who's next up here. This is my final song. once again, free weekend. One more time, my name is Memphis North.